Great. So welcome to our today's session. Welcome to our today's meeting. I want us to just do a brief introduction with regards to the concept you're supposed to cover. This concept here is called Power Query. Power Query. Power Query is an extension within Excel. It will enable you to actually do a lot of analysis, do data cleaning, and of course give us the summary of the cleaned data. Now, this Power Query here has got two major things, right? The major things that you are going to deal with here under Power Query is to deal with the two types of data sets. The first data set, we are going to do what we are going to merge, right? We'll be merging our data. Number two, we are also going to append. We are going to append data, we are going to merge data. And I'll be able to explain to you what merging data is all about, and of course, what appending data is all about. The document, I've shared it in the group, please. I've shared the document in the two groups. Those who are taking Advanced Excel and Power BI, Power Query, and those who are taking Excel only, I think I've been able to share it in the two groups. So pick it from there, please. Great. Now, we talk about Power Query, the two concepts here, that is merge and append. A lot of echo. Let's say any improvements? Any improvement? Is it okay now? Is the sound okay now? Confirm. Thank you. So I've shared the two documents in the group. I've shared these documents in the group. Please pick them from that group. Pick them from that group. Great. Now, when we talk about merging data, it is about doing what I'm about to explain. So, for example, look at the data set we are having here. Let's say you are to record everything at the end of every quarter, right? And of course, use the name of the first month of each quarter. So we have 4 quarters in a year. That is the first quarter, the second quarter, the third, and the fourth quarter. Now, what I've done, I've been able to give you data that have the name of the first month of each quarter. Our first quarter starts from January. That's why we have January here. Our second quarter starts from April. That's why we have April here. Our third quarter starts from July. And of course, our fourth quarter starts from October. This is the kind of data set that we are having. Sound not stable. Okay, so you'll give me some minutes to look at that. Great. Now, when you look at this data, we can see there is something that is common, right? So we have this one here for the month of January, or the first quarter, second, third, and fourth quarter. Now, in this particular part, you are being told to give us a summary for the whole year. For the whole year, that is 2025. So the whole year of 2025, you are being told to actually give us cumulative amount or consolidated report for this particular company. There's some ninja here. There's a ninja here who will tell us, you know what? This thing is very simple. Why are you struggling? Can you just come to January or first quarter, then you take it to all of this, yeah? Right? Take it to this part. Now that the titles are the same, come to the second quarter. Come to the second quarter, and of course we have the same title. So what do we do? Right? Just copy that. Take us to this particular section. That's okay. Then take us to the third quarter. The third quarter, right? You come to the third quarter, you pick that, bring it down here. You come to the last quarter. This ninja is telling us, you know what? Why are you struggling with this simple thing? Why are you struggling with this simple thing? Yet, we can actually do it in that simple manner, which is okay. You've been able to do it. I'm working under the assumption that you have up to 15,000 rows. You have up to 20,000 transactions, which you're supposed to record for the entire year. Now, yes, you've been able to do it. Disadvantages of doing this: number one, you cannot automate. So if you are given maybe transaction for like 12 months, for the last 10 years, you'll be struggling to make this automated. What if you realize the figure we are having, for example, in the month of January, what we are having here, this date, we got a mistake. So this date is supposed to be 2019. You will be forced to come to that part in 2019, start scrolling to locate that transaction and change the date to 2019. You can see the problem you'll be having. Now, how do we automate this such that at any given time we identify a mistake, I rectify the mistake, refresh, and my data automatically updates everything. So what I've done will actually be solved by looking at what we call, appending the data. We are going to use appending the data. Somebody saying that the sound is not okay. Good. What I was showing you here is a manual method. We have a mistake in the other data set, we can actually not manage to deal with it. We cannot easily manage to deal with it. So how do we actually combine all this? We actually combine all this. So that concept is what we call appending the data. We are appending the data. We're going to use what we call append option for the Power Query. We are going to use what we call append option for the Power Query to be able to actually combine our data, right? To get for the whole year. Now, that is the first data set. I'll be displaying the second data set, right? I'll be displaying the second data set. So this second data set, this is what we have. We are having product ID to this part is a data set on its own, right? This is a data set on its own. We have another part here where almost everything is provided. We have another part here. So this part, yes, we have the year. So this column is missing. Current producer is actually missing. That current producer is found in the first data set, right? Then again, we are required to get total costs, get total discount, get total revenue, get total net profit. Get total net profit, right? Good. Now, after looking at those items, number one, we are required to fill in the current producer column. This current producer column, how are we going to do it? The current producer column, how are we going to do it? How are we going to deal with the current producer column? And remember, we have to borrow that information from the first data set. We have to borrow that information from this first data set. That one takes us to what we call, now, for us to do that concept, we have so many methods. We have so many methods. We have so many methods. Let's see if we can solve the sound issue. Good. Now, when you look at this document, remember I've said you have been given this data set. For example, you have some information, maybe with the HR, or let's say the sales team, right? We have sales team, we have sales department or sales team who are collecting some information from the clients. Then we also have now the accounts department who is issuing these goods and all that, the accounts or the store department, right? Who are issuing these goods, the production department. Now, for the entire company, we want to come up with a report for the month of November. We want to come up with a report for the month of November. For us to get this comprehensive report, we must collect information from the sales team. We must get information from the accounts. We must also be able to get maybe information from production department. And all this merged together will give us the report for this particular company. Now, the assumption that this is coming from the production or the purchases department. So the procurement department is telling us the product ID, those who supplied this, or those who are currently supplying this particular product, and of course the previous producer or supplier, right? When I now come to the report that is generated by the account, they have everything except the current producer or previous producer. Now, you are required to use Excel knowledge to be able to fill this particular document because there's someone here who will be coming to the product ID and trying to identify which producer actually supplied this product, right? So we have the producer ID, but we don't have the producer name. So how can we be able to use the producer ID to identify the producer name? Somebody will come here and start looking at this one. Okay, this one here. But I can see this code is actually appearing to be common. Okay, it is unique. We have this one here referring to which one? United. So this CPZ company, that is the current producer. Then we have the previous producer. So you are required to use this data to be able to fill this missing space or that particular information. We have so many ways. Somebody's still talking about the audio. Do we still have that issue really? Do we still have that issue? No. Good. Now, check on your network, not anything. Good. Now, what are we going to do to be able to fill this? We have so many ways of actually solving this. Number one, we are going to use Power Query. That's the main center of our discussion today. We are going to use Power Query to solve this. Power Query to solve this. Number two, remember I talked about XLOOKUP. We can use that. Index and match combined together will be able to give us that. Index and match. We have VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP combined with match to automate this will be able to help us do that. Right? So we have these 4 ways of actually filling in this particular blank space. Now, when I go to Power Query, to be able to fill that space, I must identify the unique code. What is it that is being shared in this first data set with the second data set? I must identify that. Even when I'm using XLOOKUP, when I'm using index and match, when I am using VLOOKUP, I must identify that unique code, right? The unique code is, yes, the unique code is, what is this unique item that is being shared by the 2 data sets? For example, I'll be talking about, so we have maybe in the HR department, right? The payroll department here. So we have payroll that has got the name of the employee, right? There's the name of the employee, there's ID, there's phone number, right? But now, of course, the amount to be paid to these people. When I now go to the bank will tell me that, you know what, we only have the name of your employees, we have their ID number, right? We have their account number. So we have the name, ID number, account number, but we do not have the amount that we want to pay them. So the HR department, of course, will be giving us this particular data. The bank also has got this data. How do I merge these two data sets to be able to do what? To be able to get one comprehensive payroll for a given month. This is only possible by use of what we call this function that I've mentioned up here. Now, I have to look at now what I'm getting from the HR department and what I'm getting from the bank. What is it that is so unique that can be used to identify these people on the different data sets? If I use the name, even in this meeting, remember, I can see we have more than one admin, we have more than one Alex, I can see we have we have Anne, we have more than one Anne, we have more than one Caroline, right? Now, name cannot help us. So name cannot be the unique code. How about ID? ID, yes, that's unique. How about phone number? Yes, we have phone number. It is unique. You'll never find that two people are using the same phone numbers. Two separate people using the same phone number. No, it is not possible. So phone number is okay. But the problem with the phone number is that this phone number is not available in the second data set. It will not help us, right? How about account number? Account number is okay. It is also unique. But the only problem is account number is not available in the first data set. So therefore, our unique identifier here is the ID number. Our unique identifier here is the ID number. Perfect. You want to use that ID number, be able to link this data set. After linking that data set, the next step will be how are you supposed to get this total cost? How are you supposed to get total discount? How are you supposed to get total revenue? That's another issue. Another thing that you need to take care of is when I just upload this data the way it is, I will not have a defined range. Even if I identify a mistake somewhere here, it will not be possible for me to actually rectify it and then it automatically updates everything. We want to convert this to a table. So as we deal with this data, can we convert it to a table? Because a table will help us to get a defined data range. How do we insert a table to our data set? Just put your cursor there, Control Shift, right navigation key, still holding on Control and Shift, click on the page down arrow, and you'll be able to highlight the entire data set. How do I convert it now to a table? Just say Control T, and then it will display that to you. So do you want to create a table? Yes, I want to do so. And you can confirm here, my data has got a title. So the first row of what I have highlighted is the title of my data. That is to make sure that this box actually ticked. Because if this box is not ticked, it will not have this as the title. It will be just column 1, column 2, column 3. But the moment I put this one here, the moment I activate that, the first row becomes the title of my data. Have you been able to convert it to a table? Have you been able to come up with a table? Have you been able to come up with a table? Have you been able to come up with a table? Please repeat. It is very simple. I've said you highlight. Highlight. What did you say about highlighting the data yesterday? You put your cursor there. There's this pointing towards your right hand side. So right hand. So just hold on Control and Shift together, then click on that arrow pointing towards your right hand. Relax. Get back to Control and Shift. Do not leave it. Then this time round, can you click on the arrow pointing towards you? What have I done? I have been able to highlight the entire data set. Remember, there's a ninja who is actually coming to this part and trying to drag. I'm not disputing that, but for how long will you drag these things? especially if you have an huge data set. To avoid that, I've said, put your cursor here, hold on Control and Shift, click on the right navigation key. So the right navigation key is the arrow pointing towards your right hand. Still holding on Control and Shift, can you click on the arrow pointing towards you, or the down navigation key? It will enable you to highlight the data. How do I come up with a table? After highlighting the data, we have two ways of coming up with a table. Number one, I will simply go to Insert and click on the table. That is step number one, right? And you can see the shortcut. I want you to see where I was getting this Control T from. Look at it. When I put my cursor on the table, it is telling me that table in bracket Control plus T. What did I tell you? I just told you that after highlighting your data, can you click on Control T? That is the shortcut of coming up with a table. Make sure that this one here is ticked, and then automatically you have a table with you. You have table with you. Good. Are you able to tell me the name of your table? Somebody, can you tell me the name of your table? Name of your table? I shared two data sets, the first one and the second one. So you're now using the second one. What is the name of your table? Table 1. Can you please rename that table to producer? You rename it to producer. Rename it to producer. Right? So I want to come up with the new name of the table. No, you have not followed the instructions. I've said, work a cursor on producer ID. There is Control and Shift button. Hold the two together. Hold the two together. Kuna ile arrow in a point towards your right hand. Click on that arrow. There's that other arrow pointing towards you. Still holding Control and Shift, can you click on the page down arrow? We call it page down arrow. It enables you to select the entire data. And you go back for the third time, saying Control T to come up with the table. The name of the table. So when you now put your cursor on any part of this table, right, you can't see the name of the table. But what if you click on the table design? When you click on the table design, you can see the table name here. So rename it to producer. Rename it to producer. Rename it to producer. That is the name of our table. We are now together. The problem will come in where we have all the way to row number 15,000. This is where some people will be struggling so much. So this second data set, I want you to put your cursor here. Hold on Control and Shift together. Click on the right navigation key. Still holding on Control and Shift, click on the page down arrow. It will enable you to highlight the entire data set. How do we come up with a table? Control T. Control T. Right? Of course, we have a table. Then, of course, we have a table. Right? So here, we want to rename this table. It's called table 2, but I want us to use database. Database without any space. Database. And of course, that's the name of my table. How to name the table? I've said you go to this part. Go to this part here. Just click on this table design. You see the name, and then use the name that I've said. So the second table, call it database. The first table, what is the name of the first table? Producer. If you've not gotten anything, kindly share your screen within 1 minute. Converting this data into a table. Why was I telling you to convert it to a table? Because when you come to this part and say, you know what, I forgot a product or a producer code. So I need to bring the producer code, right? Let's say that's the producer code. Then I bring the name. Automatically, that adjusts that particular data set. So if I had referred to this data or this table By including this, I just go to data, right? I simply go to data. I will simply go to data, then click on refresh all to update what I've added here. That is the advantage of dealing with tables. That's the advantage of dealing with tables, right? If I just work with a plain data set, if I forgot something, I'll be forced to keep on changing the range, right? Right. That is it. My Excel lacks table. I think that one is even 2023. 2013 has got that. We have not designed the producer ID. We still have it. It is just from the data. I've not added anything. Somebody is saying I should repeat. What should I repeat? Our next step is, I want us now, we can actually do away with this one here, not needed. I want us to take this to the automation part. Where is the automation part? Automation part is data. So confirm to me that you have data. I've not added, I've just said, the moment you have a table, it's very easy for you to add something. If I just type here, it will be part of that data. You can see it is part of the table. It is very easy to refresh. You'll be able to see that actually practically. Don't be worried. Don't be worried about these things. Right? I want us to make sure that we all have this option here of data. Without that data, we have another problem. So for us to convert now this to get to our query, we have many ways. Remember, data can be in Excel. I want to get this. Data can be in Excel. Data can be in PDF, right? Data can be within a range. You can have a table. You can have a table. You can have a table. Same as what you're actually having here. You can get data from our website, right? Maybe tomorrow we'll now extract data from RCM website, right? We get our data from RCM website, it in Excel, then we analyze. We'll be able to do that tomorrow. Now, when you get to this part, under data, you must be having this, get data. This get data gives you option of taking this file. You can see, we can pick this file, which is an Excel workbook. We can pick CSV or text. We can pick a PDF. We can pick information from an entire folder. We can have a folder that has got everything. You just click on this one here from folder, and you can see it will be taking me to the folder. So where is the folder that I want to take? Let's say my folder is this one here. Then I'll take the entire folder. It allows me to pick the entire folder with its content. That is option number one. Option number two, I can get a PDF document. Let's come to this part, look at PDF, and then I look at the PDF that I'm having. Maybe under download, right? This one here, this is the PDF. And a document from PDF and convert it to Excel and analyze. That is possible. If you are given maybe bank statement in PDF form, you can upload it here and get the Excel version of that bank statement. It's possible. Now, for our case, what we want to take is a data given in a table format. So this is the table. You can see it here is here. From table or range. You have this one here from website, right? We have this one here from text or CSV. We have this one here, recent sources. Then we have this one here, getting data using an existing connection. For now, let us focus on getting data from a table or range. For you to extract this automatically, step number one, you must make sure that your data is on, your cursor is on any part of this first table. You have to make sure that your cursor is on any part of that table. I mean, the table design is not appearing in your, then it means the version is a problem. So you have to just get the latest version to solve that. Yes, you can also get it from Word. That's possible. That's possible. Great. So allow me to proceed. I want you to put your cursor on any part of this first table, on any part of this first table. Then we go to click on this from table or range. The moment you click on that, it will give you 1 or 2 seconds, and then it takes it now to Power Query. You can see Power Query editor. We are now taking it to Power Query. We are now taking it to Power Query. Great. After doing that, we have converted it now to Power Query. You can see the name is appearing here, the producer. This is where we have the producer. We can even rename it. We can change it to producers or producer one. We have that option of actually renaming it. And of course, now in Power Query, we are even allowed to have space. Producer one. I can even have space there. You can see it allows me to have space between the text. But of course, I want to retain the name producer. Now, after taking it that way, there's something we need to do. And I hope you are all following that. So there's this button here, there's this button here, this one here, close and load. Click on that drop down. And I want you to click on close and load to. Click on close and load, close and load to. Where? Hapa iko shida. Somebody saying that they're not able to see producer. Okay. Hapa iko shida jameni. Great. So under this, we are saying, I want now move to Power Query. I put my cursor on any part of this table. That is step number 1. Then I go to data. My data is in a table format. I just click on this, right? Some people, the name is actually written, but for my case, you can see I must put my cursor to see the name. So from table stroke range, I click on that. It takes me to Power Query. Under Power Query here, I don't want to get another worksheet with this data set. No, I just want to use it within my Power Query. So what am I supposed to do? There's this drop down list. Tumesema kuna drop down list. Click on that drop down. It will give you 2 options. When you click on close and load, it just updates the existing one. Because we have not been able to save it, we want to save it. Your next step should be click on close and load. We are going for the second one, close and load. Don't proceed beyond this point. Close and load to, but don't proceed beyond this point. Can you confirm to me that you've been able to see this displayed on your screen? Close and load to. So if you are able to see this, just indicate yes, yes, down there. What is Power Query used for? It is used to clean data, to analyze data, to summarize data. Indicate, good. We have been able to do that. If I want this to be a final output, I'll take table and click on new worksheet. All right. Click on existing worksheet. That is not my intention. I don't want this to be displayed again within my results. I want just to use it to make my analysis. So make sure you click on only create connections. If you don't pick this, you will have 2 tables, and it will give you a problem on knowing the raw data and the final data. So make sure you click on only create connections, then you confirm. Only create connections and then you confirm. This will happen. So if you look at the queries, we have 1 query, right? Producer has been created here. That is step number 1. Step number 2, now go to the second table. Any part of this second table, right? Any part of this second table, next to data, and again click from table stroke range. From table stroke range. Then it takes you to this part. You now have the second one brought in. Do the same thing. I don't want this to be displayed. I want it to use it for analysis. So go to close and load to drop down list. Click on close and load, right? After that, for the second time, pick only create connection. Pick only create connection. And then you confirm. In doing so, you've been able to create two queries. You've been able to create two queries, and you can see they are listed here. You've been able to do the two steps. Can you just indicate down there? Yes, yes, yes. Can you proceed? Yes, yes, yes. Then we proceed. Our query, the good thing about our query, it has got memory. What we are doing here, you are not going to repeat it. No, you will keep on refreshing. You don't need to repeat it. No, Power Query has got the memory to remember. You can't trace the second table. No, you should be able to trace the second table. The second table is this other one here. The second table ni hii ingine hapa. Hii. The second table is this one here. Just go back to data, then put your cursor on any part of this table from table, and it will be able to fit there. Now, someone who is already worried, what we have done has disappeared because I'm now back to this format. I cannot see what we've been able to do. Do you have such a person? There's someone who's already worried. I cannot see what we have done. Everything has disappeared. How do I get back to that page? How do I get back to Power Query? Good. It's very simple. Getting back to Power Query, when you are under data, just click on Queries and Connections. Click on Queries and Connections, and you'll be able to see them displayed here. Queries and Connections, and you'll be able to see them displayed here. Now, how do I get back to our query? Just double click on the database. I want us to use the database. Double click on the database, and it takes you back to this place. It takes you back to this place. Great. Now, are we all back to this point? Because my next step is dependent on the Power Query page. Are we all at this point? Are we all at this point? Okay. I want us to do something. Remember, we have this blank column called current producer, but the producer table has got the current producer. What are they sharing in common? They are sharing producer ID, right? They are sharing producer ID. That is it. So how am I supposed to link these things? How can I undo? What has happened? The mail is not believing that people are getting the concept. Admin is not believing. Right? How do we go back to which part? Where? Disaster. Great. We are under this, but we've been able to create connections. I'll simply go to data, right? Queries and connections. Then I want to double click on database, right? That is the second table. So I want to double click on the database. This is what we have. What are we supposed to do? I want us to refer to it. This is the original data from the second table. I don't want to interfere with it, but I want to create a reference. That reference, right click. When you right click, it will show you all this. I want you to click on reference. Is there any serious question down here? Oh, good. I'm actually recording. That's good. I've said, remember, if I click on this, you'll be able to see it's displaying the data for producer. If I click on this, to make sure it is displaying for the database, that is step number 1. for the database. Then right click. When you right click, I want you to click on this one here, reference. What will happen? It will give you a duplicate of database table. So this reference here, can you rename it and call it summary? Call it summary. Call it summary. Give it a name. Call it call it summary. Have you been able to do that? Do you have now 3 items? We have producer, database, summary. Just indicate down there. Yes, 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 if you've been able to do that. I'm not seeing your screen. There's a problem with your network. There's a problem on your side because I can see majority are able to see my screen. Have you been able to do that? Yes, yes, yes. Great. Now, after bringing this summary, we want to fill in this blank space, the current producer. So what do we do? What do we do? I want to ask you a very simple question. When I was now introducing this Power Query some minutes ago, I talked about 2 things. That is appending data and merging data. What are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? Are we going to append or amend? Or merge? Are we appending or merging the data? So under appending, we must have the same number of columns, the same title. Under merging data, we only need to identify the unique code. So are we appending or merging? Are we appending or merging? Refer to that illustration of the bank records and the HR payroll system. Tuna append kweli jameni? Are we appending? I explained that so well. Watu wananiangusha. Let me delete this first. People have decided to let me down. Very disappointing, very disappointing. I'll be forced to again show you the other data set. Nilisema hapa vizuri. Look at what I said with regards to this data. I said we have similar items. The order is the same, but we have data for separate quarters, right? The same column, the same title, right? Only different maybe values, but we have the same title, the same number of columns. So you are supposed to get for the entire year. Nikasema hii tunafanya nini? We are appending. You copy and paste below it because the title is the same. We are appending. This one here we are supposed to append. Then what we are dealing with now, we have the same product or producer ID. We have producer ID here. If you don't have current producer, we need to use a formula. I mentioned those formulas. I mentioned XLOOKUP, VLOOKUP, index and match, then finalized with Power Query concept. Under Power Query concept, because this one here has got many columns, which some are empty, but this first data set has got only 3 columns. But only what has happened, they are sharing some unique columns, the identity column, the product ID column. So in this case, I cannot do something called appending. I am going to merge. I am going to reconcile. Now, let us go back to our data, queries and connections, then click on database, right? I want to fill in this blank space. Which method am I using? I am going to merge my data. That's the difference. Number 2, somebody is saying that my current producer column is null. That is true. It was blank. If it was blank, we expect it to give us null. And if you are scared about the current producer column, then you'll be shocked to see what we have under total cost, total discount, total revenue, net profit. All of it is null because it was blank, not even 0. There's a difference between a blank cell and a cell that has got 0. We have a very big difference between those two. Let us proceed now. How do I bring the summary one? I've said you must make sure that you are you've clicked on the database table. If I click on producer, this is what it does. If I click on database, this is what it does. After putting your cursor on the database table, you right-click to do a reference. In doing so, you've created a duplicate, but you've linked the two. By creating that duplicate, can you rename this second one to summary? Rename it to summary. Rename it to summary. Are we together up to that point? Are we together up to that point? Great. Now, creating it to summary, we have now something here. Of course, somebody can say they are the same. Definitely they are the same. But I don't want to modify this. I want to modify this summary. My first assignment is to fill in this column. And I've said the method we are going to use is to do what? We are going to merge. Now, the good thing is, the first step, can you click on this summary? Then you go to merge queries. You can simply click on merge queries as new or merge queries, right? So if I click on merge queries as new, this is what will happen. This is it. So there's a new query we are trying to merge. If you're going to the subsequent one, we talk about merge existing queries. This is our first query. So I've said someone is already lost to that. Summary, click on merge queries, right? Click on merge queries. And then automatically this happens. Are you able to see this from your side? It brings us an extract of the summary table. Are you able to see that from your side? Are you able to see that from your side? Perfect. After that, I want to merge it with which other table. Remember, this current producer column is blank. This is what I want to fill. I will now come and locate a data set that has got this current producer. What is the name of that data set? Is the producer table. So click on producer table. Click on producer table. Perfect. You again now confirm to me that you have summary table, you have producer table. Do you have that with you? Do you have that with you? Thank you. Next step, we talked about some unique code. I must look at this first data set. I must look at the second data set and ask myself a very simple question. What is this unique code that is available in summary table and producer table? Somebody told me is the producer ID. Now, the good thing about Power Query, which I'll be able to explain, is that even if this one here was written product name or product number, and here we are having producer ID, right? That one does not matter. So long as I've been able to click on this to say that they are sharing this one here, that is enough. Now, I'm telling my Power Query that yes, I'm trying to combine the two data sets. What they are sharing in common, which will help me to identify them, is the producer ID in summary table and the producer ID in the producer table. That's what I'm telling my Power Query. Please repeat after summary. I've said after summary, you right click, then you go to queries, merge queries, merge queries. Jameni. I've said after having summary, you click on that summary now, then you go to merge queries. Merge queries, merge queries. Then summary, producer ID. Then I want producer as a table and click on this. When you click on these two, that is what they are sharing in common. After doing that, what do I want to do? I'm trying to tell my Excel that should you find out that this producer ID is shared on on the two data sets, please go ahead and give me the final output. can clearly see what is happening. Be able to explain again this when we go to reconciliation of bank statement, automation of reconciling bank statement. I'll be able to explain to you the use of each and every item here. We have left outer, we have right outer, we have full outer. I'll be able to explain. Actually, we'll use almost all of them when we are doing bank reconciliation, when we'll be automating bank reconciliation. So for now, I just want us to use one of them. And that one of them is left outer. All information from the first table matching from the second table. Our first table is the summary table. It is the major one. So anything that is in the first table and is found in the second table, can you please bring them together to help us complete this current producer column? So that's why we can already see we are told to join with join kind. We want to join the left outer. All information from the first matching from the second table. The good thing is you can see a preview. It is telling us the selection matches 15,118 or 15,118. What we have in table 1 or the summary table is matching what we have in table 2. All of them are matching, right? That's what you can see here. You'll be able to see this figure will not be the same when you are doing bank reconciliation. And that is the purpose of doing bank reconciliation. So after doing this, you come to this part and confirm. You come to this part and confirm. Good. After doing that, it is telling us, okay, we have producer as a table. Well, we have been able to match producer and database table under summary. All these two have been merged in the summary table. This is where we have it. Somebody is still saying, you know what, you're actually not taking us the correct direction or the right direction. We cannot see that producer name now. Where is it? Where is that current producer? Something is not happening. Something is not happening because under this part, it is still merged. It is still consolidated. So can we now expand it to see what is happening? Can we now expand it? I have gotten merge 1. Okay. It seems you've gone too far, but be able to see what to do. I have my John. Okay, no problem. Good. Now, this particular point, I want you to click on this one here, this button here. When you click on that button to expand, you can aggregate, which of course that's what happens. Then we now expand. Under expanding this, I want to remove this. Make sure that this part is not ticked. Now, in the producer table and summary or database table, we already have producer ID. I don't need it to be repeated. In the producer table and database table, of course, we have current producer. We have current producer and the previous producer. In the producer table, we don't have it in the database table. So we can decide to bring all of them, even though we were told to only pick the current producer. So to avoid a lot of problems, why can't we just retain the current producer? So what do we want to expand? We only want to expand current producer. Then you confirm. Then you confirm. Can you see what has happened? Remember, we add a blank. We add a blank current producer column. This current producer column, we have been able to use merge in Power Query to bring it back. Right? We've been able to use Power Query or merge option in Power Query to bring it back. So once we have it, remember, why is it giving us current producer 1? It is giving us that because already we have a title with the name current producer. So what do we do? It's very simple. I simply delete this, right? So remove this. After removing that, I now have that freedom of actually renaming this to be current producer, not current producer 1. So we've answered that question of bringing in current producer. Somebody is already saying somewhere that, you know what, it was somewhere here. Why can't you take it to where it was? was somewhere here. That producer was between product ID and producer ID and count. Why can't you bring it back to this place? Stop joking with us. Bring it back to this place. It was not at the very last part. How do we bring it back to that place? Just right click. When you right click, you leave the option of moving this. Right? So we have the option of move. Do you have to move it to the left or to the right, to the end or to the beginning? I want to move it to the left. You can see you can move it to the left. Okay. Can you move it again to the left? That's possible. Keep on moving it to the left. That is possible. Move it to the left. I know someone is already lost. That is common. So you are not the only one. Don't worry. Move it to the left. Move it to the left. You can see you have that option, right? You have that option. Whether it is moved to the left or to the right, again, that's not a problem, right? So let me just retain it at the beginning, then where it was. Let me just take it back to the original. So will I now come back and start moving it to the right? No, it is very simple. Just undo those steps here. When you click on this, you've been able to take it back to where it was. Rename columns, right? You can see it has been taken back to the beginning. That is it. Just undo that step and then everything will be okay. Let me see those who are stuck. Let me see. Then after clicking producer, me too. Repeat from left out all from. Wow. I am locked from merge. That's great. Watu wangu wanapotea kwa temporary. So I want one person to share his or her screen to one. So bringing this, remember, we now need to get what we call total cost. How do we get total cost? Total cost is equal to unitary cost multiplied by volume or quantity. How do we do that? First of all, I don't need this total cost. This one here, because it's blank, it will be giving me duplicate. What do? I can simply delete it, right? But now, go to this part and do what we call, can we please add a column? So, after adding a column here, add a column, I want to bring a customized column. So, custom column. This custom column, we'll be calling it total cost. How do I get total cost? Total cost is equal to volume, is quantity, then I multiply by unitary cost. Then I confirm. I now have total cost column, right? I'll be able to see what has happened. Second one, we have something here in the name of total discount, which again is blank. So can we delete it, right? And come up with a custom column. So we are calling it total discount. Now, the total discount, remember we have said, first to get total discount, it is the volume times unitary discount, right? Unitary discount to give us total discount. Then, of course, you confirm it gives us total discount column. After that, we have total revenue, right? So I just come here, remove it. Can we get total revenue? So custom or revenue. Total revenue. How do we get total revenue? Total revenue is equal to volume, right? Equal sign must be there at the beginning. Then you multiply by unitary selling price. Then it will give us total revenue. Then we now have net profit. We now have net profit. The final column. Remove it. Come to custom column here. How do we get our net profit? Our net profit is equal to, now you can see it's dependent on the empty columns that we are given. It is dependent on total revenue that was blank, minus total cost that was blank, minus total discount was blank. It means your net profit will not appear if you don't have total revenue, if you don't have total cost, if you don't have total discount. Then we confirm. We now have net profit, the column is filled, total revenue, total discount, total cost. You can see those blank columns are now filled, right? Great. After doing that, you can even come up with so many summaries from this data set. This time around again, I don't want this summary to appear as a new worksheet. I want just to create connections. So click on close and load, then I'll come to only create connections, which I've been able to do. So still with this, we just have the original worksheet or sheet number 1 with that. So let us go back now to summary. Remember, this summary has been cleaned. The summary has been cleaned. It is now perfect. So what if you are told to give us net profit per year? Can you give us net profit per year? It is very simple. I'll simply come to, first of all, refer to it, reference, then say here, net profit per year. So this one here can now be our final output. So this net profit per year, I will go to this part, group by, right? Group by advanced. What do I want to group? I want to group the year. Then what is the name of the new column? Net profit. We want to get net profit per year. What do I want to do? I want to get the summation of net profit. What am I adding? I'm adding the net profit and grouping them per year. Then you confirm. Look at what it has done. That data of 15,000 rows has been summarized to net profit per year. So my next step is to now get a new worksheet. Separate worksheet now. This time around, I don't want to create correction. I'm now giving reports, right? The board of management wants to see net profit per year. I'll now go to close and load, right? This time round, I'm not creating connection. I'm getting a new table and of course in a new worksheet. Then I confirm. That is it. So this huge data of 15,000 rows, you can see of 15,000 rows has been summarized to only this small section. What a powerful tool. That is the power of Power Query. Actually deserves that name. Yes, I'll be able to, we are going to do that tomorrow, but I wanted to just to indicate to you the final part so that as you wait for our tomorrow's class, you know what we are expecting. And of course, if you take your time with this video, you can actually do it even before we meet tomorrow. Is that okay? Yeah. Then somebody tells you know what, that is not enough. Can you give us total volume per county? We'll just go back to your data, right? You go back to data, then queries and connections, right? I will still go to summary. This summary has got everything that has been refined. So this time around, you are being told, summary, refer to summary, reference, then we want to get volume, right? Volume by county. Volume by county. Okay, that's what you want. Very simple. So we'll go to group. Go to group. What do you want to group? This time around, we want to group it based on county. What are we grouping? We are grouping the volume. And because volume is quantity, someone maybe in that meeting might be confused when you talk about volume. So what do we do? Units sold. And I want to get the summation. And of course, I want to get the summation of the quantity sold. That is what we call volume. And then you confirm. This is it. Can you please give us this final output in its own worksheet? Then you now take us to close and load. Close and load to. Okay, I want a table and let it go to a new worksheet. I've been able to condense those quantities that were sold per county. And imagine you can actually now give us from the largest to the smallest. It is possible. Or you can arrange the counties in alphabetical order from A to Z. If we had the county codes, we could have used the county codes from the first to the last. And of course, we could have expected Nairobi County to be county number 47, right? Yeah, something of that kind. This huge data is now being summarized based on this. That is the power of Power Query. So now, as we disappear, this is what happened. You realized, you can see we have 2014, 2013, 2012, 2011. What I was telling you is this. You've realized that there's a mistake that you did. This first year here is not 2020, not 2014. No, that first year should be 2015, right? That first year should be 2015. So somebody's already worried. Am I going to repeat all those procedures now that this one was supposed to be 2015? Will I repeat all those procedures? No, 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 no. Look at what Power Query will do for you. This Power Query has got good memory. Look at what it will do for you. After changing that to 2015, I simply go to data and then say refresh all. And you relax. It's remembering all those steps. It is able to remember all those steps. Look at our net profit per year. It has been able to introduce 2015. It has introduced 2015. What a powerful tool. What a powerful tool. Our query has detected that, you know what? This first year was 2015. What if this one here was 2020? Let us see. Will it also do the same? So just go to data, refresh all. Will it have that 2020? Yes, it's appearing here. That is the Power Query. So it means once you are able to set everything under bank reconciliation, at the end of every month, you copy that data, paste it to this table, refresh all, and you are done with the bank reconciliation. So if your boss gives you like maybe 2 weeks, right? You are given 2 weeks to do bank reconciliation. You'll take the first 1 week doing your own things, right? You go for a holiday of your own the first 1 week. Remember, they have given you 2 weeks to reconcile this bank statement. So they know you are currently engaged for the next 2 weeks. But for your case, the first 1 week, unachapa sherehe, right? So now the last week is when you come, paste that data here, refresh, and give them a reconciled bank statement, right? That is what it does. Now, you've seen what we are supposed to do. We have a lot of summaries. We have a lot of analysis to do in this particular data that we have cleaned. So the first thing that you are supposed to leave this meeting with, how to actually convert your data to a table, very important. Working with the tables is very simple. It's very easy because if I forgot maybe something and add it here, it will form part of that, right? It will form part of that. For example, another thing, what if the first county here, this first county, let's say this county is RCM, right? The first county, let's say that county is RCM. We expect RCM to appear. So just refresh under this part. So volume by county. So volume by county. You can see we have RCM as a county now appearing somewhere. We have RCM as a county. That is the good thing about dealing with tables, right? I think one was Narok. That's the good thing about dealing with tables, right? That was Narok. Then what else? This one here was 2014. 2014. 2014. Uh-huh. Then we have 2014 again. Uh-huh. 2014. Then you refresh. Perfect. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. So I expect us now to at least have a break. You at least look at this video, what you did not see. It is a very simple thing. It is a very simple thing. You just need to see the procedure. So that is done. We'll be able to meet tomorrow to finalize it. And remember, the first one is also 2014. Yes, I'll be able to change that. When you meet tomorrow, we'll be able to do this summary through the Power Query and also use XLOOKUP, VLOOKUP, index and match to do the same analysis. Then you'll be able to tell me which method are you going to adopt moving forward. Right? There are those people who are dealing with repeated procedure at the end of every month. You are told to provide report from this data set. I can confirm to you, when you take it to Power Query, you'll be having a lot of time doing your own things, but your boss or supervisor believes that you're actually struggling with that data, not knowing you got a secret from RCM. On how to do that within 5 minutes, and the remaining time is about relaxing. Is about relaxing. Great. So once you fill that Google form, you'll be able to have access actually latest by tomorrow, 9 a.m. You'll be able to have access to that. Yeah, so thanks for your time. Have a blessed night and let's meet tomorrow